are listening to conversations on aligning with your soul and finding your inner power. I'm Joanna from the Path of Fulfillment, and my intention is to make this topic both illuminating and practical. Enjoy. Okay, let's do this. Welcome.
Great.
Today we are talking about meditation, doorways to your soul, and adventures in sacred land. And I'm talking to Ann Vetter, who is a meditation teacher for the Chopra Center and a co-founder of Dharma Tours, taking conscious travelers to the sacred parts of India and Bhutan. Welcome, Ann. I'm so glad you said yes to this.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you so much for having me today.
My pleasure. So let's start with your beginnings, because you have masters in economics and you spent over a decade working for a worldwide management company. So how did it happen for you? It's not like corporate world and meditation world have to exclude each other, because they don't. But how did it happen for you? How did you start with meditation? And what made you say, yes, I'm going to make this a center of my life?
Yes, thank you. Well, it all happened when we moved from Germany to the United States. And I decided to resign from the management consulting world. And then I actually fell into a deep inner hole. I was just literally very frustrated with myself because I couldn't even say what I really want or what I'm here for. And all these questions popped up. And I was really like in a dark hole inside of myself. And then I got introduced actually to Tony Robbins. And I started taking his, participating in his events and workshops and so on. And I was really amazed that I can change, the conditioning I grew up with and I took on in my life. Because I grew up in a medical family, and it was the tone and my upbringing was more like, hey, you're genetically imprinted, there you cannot change. And then I come to the United States and Tony is just saying, no, you can recondition. What do you really want? So I started really letting go of old beliefs which were not serving me anymore. But going inside, I couldn't really tell what I really want on a deeper level. And I just knew, I just knew I have to meditate. I have to go beyond this crazy mind, which is just busy all the time. So I started meditating. I got introduced by a friend of mine in Scottsdale. And the first 3 months I fell asleep. So that was frustrating for me as well, that I couldn't meditate, because where I really was looking for answers inside, I couldn't find it. So for actually about 4 years, I was venturing out and trying all different types of meditation techniques. I was, trying Buddhist ancient traditions. I was meditating on a flame. I was meditating with chants and, dancing and all these different types. And they were, helping me a little bit to calm down, but I wasn't really going to the deeper place, which I was really looking for. And then someone told me, well, how about you go to Deepak Chopra to Carlsbad, California? And I'm like, oh my God, another course. I thought like, okay, is there more? So finally I went to California, and when I entered the Chopra Center, I knew I was home. Literally this feeling of I arrived where I wanted to go. And I didn't really know what kind of meditation technique he is using or, he's teaching, but I just arrived there. I knew I was home. And since then, this is a core practice I'm using. It's called the Primordial Sound meditation, and it's a core practice I'm using every day. So
the way you were describing it, it sounded like you entered through this door and you found yourself home. And this brings me to the name of your website, Doorways to Your Soul, which when I hear this, I get chills. So how did you come up with this name, and what does it have to do with meditation?
Well, thank you for asking. Well, the name came actually up in the meditation. When I was going into the meditation, I asked the question before where to focus on and how to name it. And I literally saw a doorway. So I literally saw that in front of me. The key thing is, it took me years to understand that we do not have a soul, that we are a soul. And everything that is blocking or closing off the soul is what we have learned since we are on this earth, since we are born. So all the conditioning, everything, we learned from our parents or the people who brought us up, the culture where we grew up in, and all the beliefs we have and all the, perceptions and filters we learned, that is actually causing a lot of busyness in our thought world. It is connected with our emotions, how we feel at things. If we see something, oh, we like this, oh, we don't like that. So all these, let's say, thoughts and emotions are layers or doors which are blocking really the way to who we are. And meditation is one of the key things to literally transcend and open that door to awaken, become aware of the soul. You literally, like, some people, because the word soul can sometimes be, let's say, there are a lot of, people or meanings about it, or people get nervous, or they even get allergies when you use the word soul. But what I mean is the essence within you. And you can become aware of it. And when you become aware of it, you actually start to experience the qualities of the soul. And then you can strengthen who you are with your soul and literally change your life living from, the source, from your soul, which is not, we have to uncondition so many things of us, because usually they are limiting us instead of, supporting us or expanding us or really shining our light. So that's.
Mm-hmm. And it, even just listening to you describing it, it brings me so much peace. Mm. Tell me about your transformation, and what does life with and without meditation look like? What's the difference?
Well, there's a huge difference. So the first thing is, if I meditate, I literally begin my day and I direct the direction of my day from a calm and peaceful state. And I could even set intentions, and my day starts totally different as if I get out of the bed, get my coffee and my breakfast, and start, checking off my to-dos or whatever is going on or scheduled for that day. So starting the day with being centered and going within and setting intentions, and even asking, how can I serve today? Or, how can I show up today? Comes from a different base than rushing and starting into, okay, doing all this. And the same is in the evening, when the whole day was busy and, we talk to people, we check our emails, we are on social media, so much information just comes to us. So in the afternoon, when we wind off, or I do wind off with the meditation, it literally prepares me to let go of the busy day and prepare myself for the evening and even for the night. So there is a huge difference. And honestly, I'm not missing a day without meditation. It's literally, and if I can, usually it's more challenging when I travel. But even if I have to skip one, or I practice meditation, let's say in a car, you're driving in a car and you practice meditation there, often you do not go as deep as if you're at home. But I really feel a difference. So it's like brushing my teeth, taking care of my teeth, taking care of my physical body by working out or, eating healthy food. I take care of my mind every day by meditation. And if I have to skip, I literally feel that there is a difference. I'm just a little bit more active and a little bit more, let's say, all over the place easily, because that's the type who I can be sometimes. So for me, it's very centering.
Mm-hmm. And I would add to this that I can see a difference between life with meditation and without meditation, because looking at the past few decades, I have been meditating for the past 28 years on and off. I had periods of time, months sometimes in my life, when I didn't meditate. And how do I tell the difference between life with and without meditation? If you want to feel miserable, don't meditate. But also regarding you mentioned meditation in the car, I want to clarify this, that meditation is simply practice of being present. Mm-hmm. It's a constant coming back to the present moment. And perhaps this is very important in driving, right? Because when we are not in the present, our mind is here and there, maybe on a device, maybe listening to something on the radio. But to really have the best experience in whatever we do, the deepest experience, we need to be here and now. And this is such an amazing skill that is, actually, this is constant practice, because this is the nature of our mind to wander. And this practice, we never really master being here and now all the time. So I wanted just to mention that this is about presence, practicing presence.
It is. And I have to alliterate a little bit on that. There is a difference, when you are active and you do an active present moment awareness practice, like you do your dishes, or you do the driving, or you are on your social media, or even when the thoughts come in and go into the past or the future, you can witness what's going on and being present inside, even if your mind is busy. You can, even I was once on the phone, it was kind of funny, because through the meditation, what happens is you actually start to detach and don't take things so personally. And I realized I was on the phone and I was complaining about something which was really like annoying. It was like I was a customer and it didn't work out for weeks. And then I started kind of becoming a little drama queen on the phone. And I was just putting out a little bit more pressure on this person. And internally, I'm like, oh my God, I'm really a drama queen right now. And it made me laugh inside. But, it was great, because in that moment, I started to become aware of the role I was taking on, and I could detach and just say, oh my God, I'm really like kind of a drama queen here. And then it also helped me, coming back to the person, say, hey, I'm sorry, I don't mean to take it on to you, but I'm really frustrated. But it was really funny to see that. So it's great through the practice to detach from the roles we take in your daily life. And sitting in stillness, like a regular sitting practice where you close your eyes, that is very profound, and that is leveraging you to deeper levels. I'm not saying if you're present during your day that you really can grow, and you do grow your practice, but sitting in stillness and practicing to go within, that is when you get the leverage. And that is when it's helping you during the day to be also more present. So there is, often I hear people, oh, I do gardening, so I'm fine. I don't need to practice. I agree with you. If you do gardening and you relax and you connect with nature, totally, that's very beautiful. And that's, if you do it, with present moment awareness, it is a beautiful practice. And if you start sitting still, you can even enjoy the practice during the day even more, because you're more aware.
Okay, so let's elaborate on this a little bit more. If somebody is already comfortable with meditation and they do it regularly, but they want to take this practice deeper, what would you advise them to do?
Well, there are different ways. So first is, what type of meditation technique are you choosing? And I like to compare the mind, let's say, with the ocean, and you have the surface. And the surface sometimes is calmer, and sometimes if things are busy or you get triggered by someone and you get annoyed or angry or frustrated, the waves can go higher. And most of the people are like a little boat, and depending on how the ocean is, they are going up and down, and they feel like they are the victim of the thinking process, of the thought world. So some techniques say, hey, sit down and watch the waves. Some techniques say, okay, sit down and try to calm the waves. Some techniques say, okay, let's take the snorkel gear, we dive under the surface and we just snorkel, under it, and it's not so busy as up there, but it's not really deep. That's like guided meditation, which really brings you in a very relaxed, but your mind is still alert of, where is the voice guiding me next? So that's kind of snorkeling. At the Chopra Center, for example, we use a mantra-based meditation technique. And what the mantra helps is, it helps us cutting through the waves into the depths of the ocean. And if you go deep inside, what do you find in the depth of the ocean?
Peace, stillness.
Yes.
Silence.
So
I have never been there, but I imagine.
Oh, I'm sure you have been there. Maybe you're just not,
in meditation, yes, not in the actual ocean.
Oh, that's what I thought, because you practice it so long. So what we do with the mantra is just a vehicle to dive deep within us, in our stillness, which is here right now. We have the busyness of the mind right now, but we also have the stillness within us. That's kind of the interesting nature of the mind. We have the busyness, but at the same time, the stillness is in us and around us. Was there yesterday, is here now, and will be there tomorrow as well. So we use the mantra to go deep. So there are different techniques. Then what else can you do? You can, for example, go on a retreat, really remove yourself from the daily routines and go somewhere else with the intention, for example, to go deeper and deepen your practices. That's what we, for example, do with our Dharma Tour. We go to sacred places, especially in the Himalayas, and practice meditation there, but also use the sacredness of nature. And using the sacredness, there are two different types of sacredness in my point of view. The one is where you connect with sacred places around the earth, like Sedona is a very sacred place. The Himalayas, these mountains, these are the crown. Actually, did you know that the earth, we have, as humans, we have chakras, right? They are known the 7 main chakras. I mean, there are more, but these are the main chakras we are aware of. But also the earth has chakras. And the Himalayas are actually the crown chakras. It's a jewel of the earth. So being in this region, it helps us to center ourselves much more easily and to go deeper within. So we kind of use the sacredness of nature, or we use the sacredness of humans who created sacredness. So in ancient monasteries where they have been praying and chanting for hundreds of years, the energy is different. So if you go to these sacred places and you just sit there and you allow yourself to surrender to this place and these energies, you are literally aligning yourself, opening up, and then it's so easy to go deeper.
Actually, remember when we were in Sedona, we met in the cafe and it was raining and you told me, you painted in front of me this amazing picture of the sacred valley in India, I forgot the name of it, and Bhutan. So can you tell everybody about these places?
Thank you. So what we do is we take groups, small groups with like-minded people. And actually, meditating in a group helps a lot of people also to go deeper within more easily. So when we travel in a group and we meditate and we do, gentle yoga, it is much easier to go within. And we love to go to Bhutan and Sikkim. Sikkim is a northern state in India. And they are all like the Tibetan Buddhism, which is an ancient old Buddhism. And I really like this, this lineage of Buddhism because it's very mystical. And they are just very present, where the Himalayas are. So it's the Chinese side, but it's also the Indian side, the Nepalese, and the Bhutanese. So all, the foothills of the Himalayas, that's where we like to travel and to take people. And we are very lucky that in Sikkim, which is a beautiful, lush, green, area, it's an organic state within India, and it's different to the India which we are known. So, for example, if you arrive in Delhi, it's dusty, it's colorful, it's loud. The traffic is just chaos. It's really like lots of people. It's very different. But when we go up to Sikkim, there's a lot of nature. There is a Tibetan Buddhism. There is everything is organic, and we are very lucky that we stay at a very small organic farm where even the cows are wearing mantras. It's really beautiful, and the food is just. Eating potatoes there, it's like slow food. You're really tasting potatoes fully. Like, Germans are eating a lot of potatoes, but we just eat them and, it's done. But the first time we had potatoes on this organic farm, it was like, oh my God, it's so delicious. So we combine Bhutan, where we travel a little bit more. It's more like a pilgrimage. We are going to see, several places. And then we retreat in northern India in Sikkim on this organic farm.
And didn't you say something about this family, that this family is taking care of sacred sites?
Yeah. Well, they are like the guardians of the sacred land, which they are, taking care of. And the father actually is supporting the monastery, which is close by. And it needed to be rebuilt 20 or 30 years ago. And he was literally with his own hands, he's a medical doctor, but with his own hands, he was starting to rebuild this monastery. So the Tibetan Buddhists are very respectful and kind people. It's really different. It's a different culture in the Indian culture than the rest of India. India itself is a very heart-driven culture, but the Tibetan Buddhism, it's like, for example, men and women. A Buddhist man told me that women are actually put on a pedestal by Buddhist men. So that's beautiful to hear. You don't hear that often. It's like, yeah. I don't know if one is practicing it, but it's a very kind and a very kind culture. When we come from the Western world, they are always respectful. And me as a woman, I've traveled a lot, in different countries, and I was always respected, being there as a tourist, as a guest. We in Dharma Tour, we take a lot of emphasis of making everyone feeling safe, because especially driving from one village or one town to the other, the traffic can be really crazy. And you can have a flat tire or whatever. It's like you never know what's going to happen. Like, we were driving in Bhutan, and all of a sudden there was a road slide, and we had to take a 2-hour detour because the road were closed. But the vehicles we have and the drivers we have, we put a little bit more money into the transportation. So we don't take, let's say, the local one and the cheapest version, because that is totally crowded, and it can take a lot of time. So we are investing a lot into having safe drivers and safe cars. And the groups which are with us, usually the feedback we get is they always felt so safe, so taken care of, that they can let go of the fear and the courage you need at the beginning to step into this unknown, into this different culture, and they can let go of that because they feel like they are in this group and they're held in a very safe container. That's how we always call it. So we create this container to make everyone really feel comfortable.
Many people are afraid of going deeper because they are afraid of what they will find in there, the shadows and the darkness. And some people are even afraid of what they will learn about themselves. Mm-hmm. So if your clients, because I know that you also see private clients, teaching them meditation, if your clients have this problem, have this hesitations, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, and I've experienced it, with several of my clients and also with myself. First of all, when you start practicing meditation, you become aware of how busy our intellect is. And everything we are just thinking of, and we are just in this, really these, let's say, these spoons, and it's just happening, okay? So when you start practicing, you start to see that and to see it more as an observer, as a witness, and you can see, oh, this is what I'm thinking. Isn't that interesting, right? So it's like you're detaching, you're not identifying. So many people identify and think it's true what is going on in their minds. So that's the first thing. And then when the layers are getting calmer and you go deeper and you start to see everything who you are, and we are everything. We are the whole rainbow of all the emotions. So we have anger, resentment, everything in there. And in our culture, we are usually taught, hey, we're not supposed to let that out. We have to deal with it. And usually dealing with it means, oh, we are not looking at it, we are pushing it aside. So somehow it's like a balloon you push under the water. We can push it and push it and push it. And at some point, it will come up because it's not natural to push it down. So first of all, what meditation does is, it's like a river which is smoothly cleansing all the rocks in the riverbed away. It's cleansing all the residue which we don't need anymore in a very soft and gentle way. And often you do not realize that you are cleansing with each meditation. You're taking away some of the residuals we have inside. And usually you start to get to know it when other people say, hey, you're not reacting this way anymore. It was like, usually you're under the roof if I say this, or if I roll my eyes, or if I do something like that. So you may not even know what's happening. On the other side, trust. Whatever is suppressed in you and wants to come up, just trust that you are never given too much which you cannot handle. And I literally believe if you learn how to meditate and gently go inside, you will start to experience the peace and, the truth which is there. And then you can see, oh, I'm really angry about this. I really don't like it. And then you can handle this uncomfortable emotion more from the mature adult point of view and not from the hurt little child. It's like when we come back into, for example, a client of mine, she got bullied by her sister-in-law. And every time the sister-in-law, she was just pushing her, like literally like just trying to control her and putting this strong energy into her. The client was like a little girl going to the end of the room, kind of, and really getting scared of this bullying. So that is like the little child which needs like protection, or which is looking for protection. But then when you meditate and you see that part still needs some healing or needs to be looked at, to be just acknowledged, there's nothing wrong that we experience fear or anger or resentment or something. But usually, instead of pushing it right away, we can look at it, it's coming up, and then we can come from the centeredness and from our adult point of view and say, you know what, it's okay, it's all good. And usually when these emotions come up, the shadow side, which is an energy, it's actually only an energy, but it's an energy which can really feel uncomfortable. And if we only allow this uncomfortableness to be, it's moving on, it's changing, the latest within 2-3 minutes or something. So it's like, okay, just, you're not getting killed by experiencing uncomfortable energies. There's no energy which is killing you. It's just uncomfortable because we're not used to it.
Yeah, so nothing will happen to you if you experience the emotion. I think it's really important to remember that even if we experience so-called bad, painful, negative emotions, it doesn't mean anything about us and our essence and who we are. And the attitude we come with to a meditation I think the important parts are a Maitri and Tonglen practice, which is basically the kindness, being kind with yourself, being your own friend, and which is Maitri, and Tonglen. Gosh, it's so helpful to me, and I'm sure it would be to many people to know about this. When you are in pain and you go to meditation, just focus on the mantra. Thousands of people are going through the same pain. Thousands of people feel the same pain as I do in this moment. And somehow, even though it's like focusing on pain of other people, somehow it brings relief to your own pain. So those two are very important. Kindness with yourself and knowing that other people go through the same thing, because there's nothing more painful than feeling that you are the only one going through this dark place.
Yes. Beautiful.
What are different ways of creating inner peace in ourselves?
Well, one is definitely to meditate and detach from the thought world and the emotional world and really connecting with our essence, our soul, becoming aware of it. Because if we start to see the qualities of the soul, which is peace, it's unbounded, it's blissful, it's really a retreat, it's the kingdom within. So if we start to become aware of that inside, then it helps us to literally relax within and center from within. The other thing is to look at the thought and the emotional world to see what's going on. And Byron Katie, she's a spiritual teacher, and I love her work because if you, for example, have a thought which really triggers you and makes you feeling annoyed, you know, let's say, I met once a woman, she got, flowers. She got, the gift of the flowers. And I came in and I said, oh, how beautiful flowers. And she's like, well, too much orange in it. And I'm like, okay, interesting, because my perspective was beautiful flowers. Her perspective, oh, no, they are not nice because there's too much orange in it. So that thought somehow made her, frustrated. So Byron Katie would just say, how would you feel without that thought? And just tune in. How would you feel without that thought? It's just a thought. And do you want a thought make your day feel miserable? So that would be, for example, a very quick way to create inner peace, to look at, oh, what's going on right now? This is annoying me. Oh, okay, so what if I'm just looking at that thought and saying, how do I feel without the thought? So that's another way. There are different other ways. You always kind of work on what I call the horizontal plane, which is the thought and the emotions. So you can change, let's say, a negative thought more into a positive thought through intention, through incantations, through affirmations, because they make you feel better. And then you can go the vertical path, which is going deeper within and transcending the thought and the emotional world. So that's, two ways to create and experience more inner peace.
Is forgiveness necessary to create the inner peace?
Absolutely. I think if someone is really looking for inner peace, I would always start with forgiveness. Give me the list with the people who you're angry about, who hurt you, who are really annoying you. Just write down, who is it? Who's number one? Who's number two? Who's number three? Because very interestingly, you are carrying whatever you are angry about or hurt about, you are carrying it inside of you. They often don't know about it. They don't think about it, and they don't care about it. So it's literally, it's your inner world, which is in a war, because you're like, oh, he did this and she did that and she shouldn't have done this. And how could they have done that? This is so wrong. So you make something so wrong, but you're carrying it inside. And science shows, even if you have a thought, okay, this is wrong. Just feel it. It feels much more heavy than saying, okay, it just is, right? Or, oh, I'm right and you are wrong. I mean, how does that feel?
That's the worst.
Right? But this, this is so much in our culture. Hey, this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. And everyone has a different point of view when is what. So forgiveness is very deep work, but it is so healing. And I personally had the biggest transformation and connecting back with my true heart and my truth by forgiving people who hurt, where I felt hurt so much.
So what are the other transformations you noticed in yourself and other people that you noticed doing this work?
It all varies. We had, for example, a woman who came with us to Bhutan and Sikkim last year. And with the travel, being away from her daily activities, being in the sacred places, practicing meditation and yoga in a group and going to these sacred, energies, she just got so much clarity that she has to change her profession. She was doing something which she liked, but she felt like she needed to do something more different. So literally she shifted from here to there. And I talked to her 6 months after our trip, and literally she sold her business, which she had. She got a new job, and she's lighting up because she's more aligned with what's right for her, with her soul. Then we have experiences where people are actually aware of what's toxic in their life. For example, they really had to leave a toxic relationship and they didn't have the courage, because often there is like a little dependency between, or you're scared of, okay, if I leave, I don't have this anymore. And it's, this mind work and emotions which can come up. So often it's a lot of clarity, but it's also becoming aware of, what do I really want? And some people even ask, what am I here for? That is how we created Dharma Tour. Dharma Tour is actually Susie and I, my partner Susie from Ireland, and we are really passionate about our Dharma and helping people to identify, hey, why are you here? What are you here for? How can you show up? And what do you really want? Aligning yourself on a deeper level, on a soul level. So clarity, becoming aware of, what is it? What is fulfilling me? And what is my purpose? And how can I show up? So that's a lot of transformation we help and we experience with the people who come with us or I work with.
So if someone would like to work with you, if someone would like you to help them with their personal meditation practice, how can they work with you, where they can find you?
Well, thank you. Of course, they can find me on my website. I would first actually invite them to have a free discovery call to see, what do they really want? Why do they want to meditate, or what do they want to change in their life? And then I would, give them my point of view, how I can assist them the best. Using the Primordial Sound meditation mantra, which is like a 4-session module to receive the Primordial Sound meditation technique. That is something which I like to actually invite them to experience and learn, because it's like a foundation. It's a foundation in your life. It's like at the Chopra Center, if you are looking for a medical, let's say, a session with an Ayurvedic doctor, the first thing Deepak always says, you have to learn meditation. It is just a core requirement for working and approaching your life from a different point of view and holistically. So
I forgot to come back to the question, what is Primordial Sound meditation?
Primordial Sound meditation is a very simple and profound technique, and we use a mantra. It's a mantra-based technique, and the mantra is based on a primordial sound. And the primordial sounds, they are actually the sounds of the earth, and the sounds are changing kind of every 6 hours. So the seers and the wise people of thousands of years ago, when there was no train and no traffic and no noise, they literally could hear how the vibration of the earth is changing. And when you were born, you came into this life with a pure consciousness. And one of the first imprints you have into your consciousness is the vibration of the earth. So we use that vibration to actually connect you and help you to dive deeper to that pure consciousness when you came into this earth, into this life. And it doesn't really have a meaning. It is a sound, it is just a vibration, but we use it as a tool to really go deeper within. And it works, literally. It is so profound, it works.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Yes, one key thing I would like to add is many people try meditation. They do all different types of meditation. And then often they give up. They give up because they think they do not find the time. They give up because they think they don't see an effect or something. And they just go on with their life. But I can tell you one thing, if you meditate on a daily basis, and Joanna, you have experienced it on your own as well, you know, the periods when you meditated and the periods you didn't. When you meditate on a daily basis, it literally shifts your experience of life, much more becoming aware from your soul, you know, coming from the soul level, but it literally gives you more peace and detachment. You start not taking things so personal, so you maintain more the inner peace. And it's literally, you have to do it.
And it was amazing. I learned so much from you. And I'm sure that many people heard a lot of new things about meditation. So thank you so much. And I wish you a lot of beautiful adventures in India and Bhutan. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna, having me. I really appreciate you. And keep on shining your light and helping women to share their light. You are an amazing woman. Thank you.
Thank you.